So you're growing, your business is flying, you're thinking, I want to scale this to the moon. You think, I've got to hire a salesperson. And then guess what? 4 months later, oh, where did it go wrong? Why were they such a bad hire? Happens, I've seen it lots and lots of times. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to ensure your first sales hire is a success. I'm going to give you 5 key points to put in place to make sure the person you bring in achieves the success you want. Because we don't want to waste time, money and effort in bringing someone on board that can hurt your business and send you backwards. So let's look at the 5 key points you need to ensure that first hire is a whopping success. So the first point is this. I want you to make sure you've set some really clear expectations and goals on what you want that person to achieve. And that's going to take a little bit of planning. And by the way, bring some help in from whether it's people like ourselves or other people as to what's realistic. I see so many business owners and sales managers that literally are trying to hire someone and that person, their expectation levels are far greater than what they would have done themselves. And they want them to achieve results within literally 6 months. I'm like, wow, that's just not possible. But I've also seen other people there where I think, wow, you're not expecting anything of them in 6 months. I think that's a bit light. So set some clear expectations and goals. I always think it's a really great idea to have a 1, 4, and 12 week set of metrics that you would expect that person to show you in that period of time. What do you want them to show you after week 1? So for example, for me, after week 1, I want to see that their LinkedIn profile has changed. After week 4, I want to see that they've been on done all their key training. After week 12, I want to see that they've actually got a couple of leads in the pipeline. The key reality is, what are the expectations and goals that you have for them? So many people bring people in and haven't got a clue as what they're looking for. To me, on a traditional basis, if I'm bringing a salesperson on board, I'm looking for them to bring in 3 to 4 times their salary in revenue. So, or if for example, if I'm bringing someone on board on 50,000 a year, I'm going to expect them to hit a number of 200,000 to be able to make it worthwhile for the business. But does that align with the goals and expectations you have? I've seen people bring someone on board for 30,000 and expect them to hit 3 million. And I'm like, that's just not realistic. So point number 1 is set some clear expectations and goals on what it is that you're looking to achieve. And really then sanity check that with other people. If you were asked to do it, could you do that if you were solely focused on it? Knowing the fact that you're as an owner or a sales manager, as someone that's going to spend more time and has got a dedication to doing it. Too often, the expectations are wrong and that sets things up for failure. It means when you interview people or have conversations, there's going to be a disconnect between the two. So the second point is this. When you're hiring someone, I'm a big believer that you hire for attitude and hunger, not just skills. Now, this is a tricky one because those people that obviously have got skills in an area, the old experienced salespeople, for example, might be the type of people that you want to bring into your business. They know your industry. They've got a network of contacts that are really important. They can help you introduce yourself to other people. But if they haven't got the right attitude and hunger to be able to do what's needed in your business, then it's a major challenge. Whereas if you've got someone that's hungry, that's determined, that's got the ability to learn and want to pick things up from you and other people they work with, then to me that's going to be a far better way of being able to help them make their pathway to where they want to be than necessarily getting someone in that's just experienced but hasn't got that right hunger. Now, an ideal situation, you get someone that's hungry to do it, that's also got experience, that's got the ability to want to learn, but also has the ability to have contacts and connections that you can use. And if you've got someone like that, perfect. But I've always felt you can hire, you can train people, I can train skills, but I can't teach hunger. So if you can't get someone to really feel enthusiastic about your company or can't get them to want to do the things that are difficult, maybe it's worth considering whether they're the right option for you. So the third point around hiring the right person to successfully first time is onboarding and training. Yet again, I have lost count the amount of times I've seen people hired into sales roles who literally after a day have been given their laptop and told what's happening with HR and how they get paid and then said, right, over to you and do what you need to do. And the person's left thinking, well, I don't understand the service and product I'm selling, and I'm not sure how we operate in this company, and I'm not sure what processes to operate by, and how do you guys go and generate leads, and blah, blah, blah. But there's a whole host of things that haven't been communicated. People sometimes think that people are just going to have this magical Uri Geller-like ability to know what to do. They don't. They need some structure. And it doesn't mean to say you've got to be so structured that you don't let them do anything for 8 weeks. But most of the great sales companies that taught brilliant salespeople in the past would have like a 4-week program. They'd go off site for 2 weeks to learn the service, to learn the company's way of selling. So there's a plan in place to make sure they're onboarded well into the company. People don't necessarily know who does what in the company, so maybe you need to introduce them to other members of staff. Maybe you've got to have someone that can help make sure that they do certain things to learn in a certain way. The key is giving them some onboarding and training that really works for them. And the reality is, for me, is if you can't give that or haven't got the time and place to put it in place, then really consider whether you want to make that first sale hire happen. The reality is, if you bring up someone on board that isn't a good fit, that hasn't got the right training, or hasn't been in a position where they've got clear goals, you're on a recipe to disaster. So put that in place, train them, put a plan in place. Again, if you want some templates and some help with that, reach out. We've got resources we can share on our website that can help you, but put it in place. It's going to give you a better chance of ensuring this first person does well when you want them to. So point number 4, and this is linked in a way to the onboarding and training, is simple. It's sales playbooks. What do I mean by a playbook? I mean, you as the owner or the business manager, the sales manager, were really good at doing the job. You were able to show results. So don't keep that in your head, document it. Put it into an outline, put it into a library, put it into a resource that says, here's what we're going to do when we have the first call. Here's how to make the second call happen. Here's how to do the following. And create a blueprint and a library of materials so that the salesperson that comes in can then see how it was done. Good salespeople are then going to want to follow what you've done. And the good thing about that is you keep to a consistent process, which means it's happier all around. But the reality is, so many people expect people to just know what was in their head. You as a leader are probably going to be in a position where you know more information than that person. You've had different experiences. Well, you've got to translate that down into a document or some materials that the other person can look at. If you haven't, they're going to be stuck. They're going to come up and create their own. And then you might wonder why they've gone off piste and sold in a different way. Create a framework. Make sure you train them on how to use that framework. Show them how to ask the questions in the way it works. Show them where your successes have been, where have your failures been. Give them the ability to see what's worked and what hasn't worked, and put that in a document that can then get amended and changed on a regular basis. You should have a sales playbook or a library of playbooks in your business that can help any new person come in that should be tweaked and amended. And if you haven't, reach out. People like us in my company, in the Sales Growth Academy, we can help you create that, but the key thing is put it in place. Without it, you're really setting your salesperson down a path to go to a route that could lead to success, but very often leads to failure. And my final point about ensuring that you're going to make that first sales hire a success relates to mentoring, coaching, and the culture you have in place. When you bring that person in, do you give time to them to ensure that the first couple of weeks they're really settled in? Or do you put them in, into a role and say, right, I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time and hopefully things are okay? The reality is, if you haven't got some sort of program in place for them to start, or if you haven't got some sort of culture which encourages them to talk to other colleagues, or there's not any form of coaching process or procedure for them to follow, don't be surprised when they fail. The reality is, people, yes, good people can make their own path, they'll do their own thing, but what they want to know is that you as a leader are checking in on them. You've got that culture which says, hey, bring any questions to me. One of the first things I try and do in any organisation every week when I bring a salesperson on board is ask them, give me your list of questions that you've got in the first day or first week, and then we'll discuss those together. It's going to require some of your time. That's why it's so important we get it right, because you don't want to keep on putting time and effort into someone that doesn't do the things you want them to do. But don't expect that person to just be perfect without having some leadership or some support or some changes in culture in place. You've got to make sure they want to work and engage with you, and yet they feel supported to make that change happen. That early investment up front can bear incredible fruit in the long run if done well. If you just let someone get on with it and hope for the best and think they'll be okay, again, chances are they're going to fail more than they'll succeed. So these are the simple 5 frameworks to put in place to ensure your first hire as a sales hire is a success. I've hired hundreds of salespeople, I've made mistakes, and I've got lots of people with things right. The key things, these are the things I know make a difference. Put them in place in your business, and you're going to ensure that the money you're investing, which we all know, you're going to give people time, you're going to give them the first couple of months to get going, bears fruit, rather than becomes a pain and something that's an investment that went wrong. I don't want that happening for your business. Take these steps in place, and if you want some help in making sure you hire the right people or do the right things, reach out. Me and my team can help. But make sure you do this to get the people in place that can help you and your business scale. You can't do it alone. You need people in your team. That's the best way to hire the right salesperson for your company. Enjoyed the video? Please like and subscribe to the channel. Share it with other sales leaders. Let's make sure they're putting in place the 5 elements needed. And let's make sure all the sales hire we make in the next couple of months and years are good ones.